Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Cookies with Coder Bunnyz. Today we have with us the Director of Innovation and Digital Learning at Campbell Union School District, Kami Thordarson.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
I'm doing very well here on this lovely day today.
She also recently co-authored the book, Design Thinking for School Leaders. She leads the district into combining technology into learning and innovating practices that fully move the students into more personalized experiences. So Kami, you've played so many roles during your career, from Colorado to Silicon Valley, from teacher to innovator, from principal to author. So what personal strengths helped you maneuver during this journey?
I think that one of my strengths is that I love to learn. Absolutely love to learn. I find myself always drawn to new things, even when I was in the classroom.
That's really great.
I never like to do the same thing twice. Like, you know how teachers pull out the same worksheet from year to year? That was not how I taught. So I love just to change it up and make it different, and part of that is just that ability to be adaptable and flexible and just love learning and looking for new ways to do things. That's part of what.
That's really great. It's always good to keep on learning and just always be motivated.
It is.
So as an educator, you have the chance to impact so many lives. So any particular story that stood out that you would like to share with us?
You know, it's funny when I think back on my career as a teacher and as an educator. I remember and I came late to teaching. It was not a career that I did in my 20s. I was in my late 30s when I started teaching. But I remember starting very teacher-centric, like it was still about me and I was directing a lot of it. And as I grew as a teacher, I started to release more of the learning to my students. So watching students, as I had been in the classroom for 9 or 10 years, really starting to see students be able to follow their own passions and sort of give them that space. I had one student in particular when I taught 5th grade who just fell in love with movie making. And he was one of those kids that would love to deep dive into something. So this became his passion all year long. And so every project he did, everything we were learning, he focused it somehow through that lens of film and how to create with film and how to tell that story. And then I was fortunate to have him again the following year because I rolled up with my class to 6th grade. And he had a totally different focus the next year. Like, movie making was still cool and he still liked it, but he had found a different path, something else had caught his eye. And so it was all about then learning how to code and getting into the computer pieces, and everything became about that. But just giving students that space to sort of pull those passions into the classroom, that's when I really felt like I had really started to become a really good teacher.
That's amazing. And learning to code? Coder Bunnyz.
I know, well, here you are.
So what's your inspiration, or who's your inspiration?
You know, I really look to educators who are pushing boundaries and doing things differently. I think there's a lot to learn from current educators who are questioning their practices. I think in education we've become very, what I would say, path dependent. We have gotten sort of lost in our habits, and you know how when you have a habit it's hard to let go of it sometimes, even if it's started out as a good thing. Maybe things have changed and it's not such a great thing anymore. And I think in education we're at a place where we're starting to question some of those practices, things that have worked for a long time but currently don't quite work as well as they used to. So I think that I look to people who are sort of trying new things in that space, really gaining inspiration from them and seeing where they're finding success, and really looking at students, right? So it's really fun to walk through a classroom and see what kids are doing. And I look for those students that are so into what they're learning that they can hardly want to talk to you. And you're like, what are you doing? And they just go off on whatever it is they're doing, and they want to tell you this big story about how excited about whatever it is that they're doing in front of them. That's inspiring, right?
That's truly amazing. So what do you think is the greatest challenge that students face today?
Oh, I think I would have to say technology, and I don't mean that just learning how to use a device, because I think our students today are growing up with devices and they're very comfortable with that piece of it, but I think the impact that technology will have moving forward when you look at some of the moral decisions that our future generations are going to have to deal with, when we look at artificial intelligence and we look at self-driving cars and we look at all of these things that technology is going to impact, being able to like critically think and make really good decisions around those technologies and how they will impact personal lives, that's going to be big.
Nice. So technology, right? And another problem with technology is it's like the radiation it gives off that can truly harm you.
True. So there's all of these and things that we don't know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's moving so fast and we're developing things so quickly. And because we have this high rate of change, there's a lot of things that are unknown. And so I do find that students are sometimes challenged by that ambiguity, that not knowing or not having an answer, and I think that's a really important skill.
In technology, if you want to get off technology, you can always play a board game.
Yes, you can, like Coder Bunnyz.
Yeah, and you still learn while having fun and getting off technology.
Absolutely.
So what makes you happy?
Oh my goodness, a fun video game, a good superhero movie, the sunshine outside, a great pop song on the radio, all of those things make me happy, and then watching other people get really excited about learning.
Small things make a big impact.
Yes, they do.
So any piece of advice you'd want to give to kids like me or my generation?
I think I would say remember to be really, to sort of nurture that empathetic skill that we all need, that we're sort of lacking right now in our adult world, that empathy piece. So I think really being conscious of the people around you and really developing relationships along with your coding skills, that not forgetting there's a human element into our world, and that's a lot of design thinking, right, is being very empathy based. So really developing that, and then also knowing that it's okay to not have an answer, and to sort of be able to play in that space of what if, and then nurturing that curiosity. Always being curious and really thinking about, can I ask a better question?
Because like if you don't ask questions, you'll never learn.
Right. And do you have, like, what is a good question? And really thinking about that. Because if you can ask a question that you can answer on Google, maybe that's not such a great question, right? So how do we...
Google does not even know the answer to.
Yes, that's a good question.
So for the last, final, and the toughest question.
Oh, dear.
Cookies, cake, or chocolate? Which one's your favorite?
How about a little combination, and I'll say chocolate chip cookie.
Chocolate? Yes! Yes! I love cookies, especially chocolate chip cookies too. That's why this is Cookies with Coder Bunnyz.
Very nice. Can I ask you what you think students, like what do schools need to do for students to be successful?
So for me, in my opinion, what schools need to do for students to be successful is let students follow their dreams. So don't force them. I mean, it's great. You should always do what's assigned, what you have to do if you're like a teacher, do what you have assigned, but also leave a little space for creativity each day, and leave a little space for the kids to kind of just do whatever they love and really follow their dreams.
Awesome. I think we can do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kami. We've learned so much from you. It was awesome talking to you. I had a lot of fun. I'm sure people enjoyed hearing it, and people learned a lot, and so did I learn a lot. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting me for this experience. It was great getting to sit down with you, and I'm really excited to explore your game a little more and to introduce it to our students.
Thank you.